Welcome to NECTV Reads the Banner. My name is Catherine Jasnick, and I'm one of many volunteers that help create programming for our station. You may be joining us online, Neepawa Access Live, WCG 12, Channel 30 Direct Sightline, MTS or Bell Express View. These broadcasts are made possible by our volunteers, staff, advertisers, and donations by viewers like yourself. If you enjoy what you see and hear, please consider supporting us by a donation or by volunteering. Contact our office at 204-476-2639 or NACTV at wcgwave.ca. And today I am reading the Neepawa Banner dated Friday, April the 21st. And as many of you may know, that CAA has been making a list of the worst roads in the province as people phone in and complain about them. And on the front page of the banner, there's a photo of Main Street in Neepawa. And according to a new survey by CAA Manitoba, Neepawa's Mountain Avenue was in the top 20 for the worst roads in the province. Meanwhile, Minnedosa's Main Street South finished 8th. And it was sort of a bad stretch up there near the northern end of Mountain. The communities of Brookdale, Minnedosa, and Neepawa have found themselves on a list that they're likely not happy to be on. On Tuesday, April the 18th, CAA Manitoba released the results of its Worst Roads campaign. The annual initiative is aimed at pressuring governments into spending money to repair problematic roads. Brookdale's Provincial Road, PR 353, came in second in both the overall and rural categories, while Minnedosa's Main Street South finished 8th overall, 5th in the rural road category. And Mountain Avenue in Neepawa was 19th overall, or 9th in the rural roads. Just over 8,400 votes were cast on 712 different roads. Provincial Road 239 in Faulkner was the top vote getter for 2017. An extenuating circumstance to the road situation is that all 3 local roads are under provincial jurisdiction. That means the province is in charge of the primary maintenance and repairs. Minnedosa Mayor Ray Orr says it makes for a tough situation. It's not a situation we're happy about. On top of that, there are certain things that we as a municipality can't do without advising the province. Many people around the community understand the circumstances we're dealing with, though from time to time there are some who come up to us saying, "Why aren't you fixing the street?" We are doing everything we're able to on repairs, noted Orr. Now we've been informed by the province that they're going to be working on 6th Avenue this season, which is very good to hear. At the same time, we would have been just as happy to see that work being done on Main Street instead, but they focus their priority somewhere else. In Neepawa, it's a similar situation on Mountain Avenue, as the town is dealing with potholes and crumbling concrete. Mayor Adrian de Groot said that council has expressed to the Manitoba government the need for upgrades. It's something we'd like to see action on. We've expressed our concerns, and I've asked our administration to make overtures through the proper channels to see if anything can be done to address the situation. There are a number of localized areas that are bad. We're following up with the province and seeing what can be done. Municipality of North Cyprus Langford Reeve, Bob Adrianson, noted that this is the second straight year that PR 353 has finished so high in the overall ratings. He noted many local residents remain hopeful that the multiple year inclusion will finally spark action from the province. All you have to do is drive down that road to see why it's so high on the list, stated Adrianson. The RM does what it can to fix it up, but it all comes down to what the province wants to do with it. We're still hopeful that this is something that they'll move forward on soon. But until that happens, All we can do is patch up what we're able to as best as we can. As an alternative to the worst roads report this year, CAA Manitoba has also introduced a most improved road category. Winnipeg's St. James Street and the Trans-Canada Highway earned recognition for the repairs they have undergone in recent years. And in ranking, number 1 was PR 239 at Faulkner. Number 2 was PR 353 at Brookdale. 3 was Dugald Road at Enola. 4, Chevrier Boulevard, Winnipeg. 5, Empress Street, Winnipeg. 6, Pembina Highway, Winnipeg. 7, Main Street South, Carman. 8, Main Street South, Minnedosa. 9, Fermer Avenue, Winnipeg. And 10 was Manitoba 20 at Oka River, Manitoba. And there's a photo showing the condition of PR 353 near Brookdale, which is like patched holes on top of patched holes on top of patched holes. And editor Kate Jackman Atkinson's My Perspective column. Changes are coming to local health care. Over the last couple of weeks, I've interviewed representatives from 2 companies expanding their private home care service into the Neepawa area. Looking at trends, I suspect this is something we are going to see more and more. The demand for private care is being driven by a number of factors, one of which is the more limited services provided by government-funded home care. Provincial home care provides a range of services, including personal care assistance, such as help with bathing or transferring to a wheelchair, home support, such as help with meals and light housekeeping, health care, such as education or nursing care, in-home respite to provide short-term relief for a family, supplies and equipment, adult day programs, volunteer services, and community housing with support options. Many Manitobans rely on these services, but for some people's needs, they fall short. The tasks that can be done by home care workers are limited. They can reheat meals, but not prepare them. They can't provide any transportation services, and they don't have time to just socialize with the clients. It's understandable that a one-size solution needs to be in place for such a large operation, one which requires home care staff to work independently with little supervision when they are in clients' homes, and clients who need assistance for a wide variety of reasons. Taxpayers are funding the provision of health care, not transportation services or companionship, despite the fact that these are important to a person's mental health. But one size doesn't fit all. Due to work, other commitments, or distance, many families are unable to meet their loved ones' non-health care needs. Additionally, some people needing care don't have families upon which they can rely. Regardless of the reason, for many people, a family member or friend can't always take them to doctor's appointments, sit or chat with them, or take them out shopping. And while public-funded home care can't provide these services, private care companies can. Home care is an extremely important part of the health care puzzle. It keeps those who need a little bit of care out of hospital emergency rooms and care homes, which are expensive ways of providing care. According to a Manitoba Auditor General report on home care, published in 2015, 24,514 Manitobans used home care services in 2012-2013. This cost the province's health authorities $326 million, or $13,298 per person for the year. According to the WRHA, the average hospital bed costs $800 per day, and it's $2,000 per day for intensive care. per day costs at a personal care home are about $200, and it costs about $300,000 per bed to build a care home. So for communities with care homes that are full or near capacity, keeping those who need some care at home instead of having to build more care home beds can represent a huge cost saving. The need for health care, particularly services aimed at helping seniors age at home, is only going to increase. Between 2021 and 2036, the number of Manitobans over 75 years of age is expected to grow rapidly as baby boomers reach 75 years of age. Statistics Canada predicts that in 2038, the proportion of seniors aged 65 years and over in Manitoba will vary between 19% and 23% of the province's total population. According to Manitoba Health data, in 2016, just under 15% of the province's population was 65 years of age or older. Providing necessary care for a growing population of Manitobans who need it is going to be one of the province's largest challenges going forward. Creative solutions will be required, and I expect we'll see more of them, both inside and outside of provincially funded health care. And Rita Friesen's Homebody's Column, entitled, Spring. The defeated snowbanks, receding and retreating, bivouacked in the tree lines and fence lines, reluctantly give way to rivulets of tears, admitting the end of their dominance. The trees are showing signs of promises fulfilled, the buds now full second trimester around. It is good. The evening walk witnesses the end of winter. Overhead, a V of geese is low. I pause and marvel at these majestic, fine-tuned creations. In the stillness, I can hear the thrum and thrust of their flight, marking the way across the darkening sky. I'm reminded of the year of the farm auction, late spring, beautiful weather, and as the geese crossed low overhead, one errant poop blessed the shoulder of my youngest, a smiling moment. The stillness is broken by the persistent whine of a dirt bike, the rising and falling sound, not unlike the sound of a mosquito in the tent, drawing close then wisely retreating. An insistent sound, and on this evening, a joyous sound. I am reminded of the yard filled with my children, dirt bike, mini bike, garden tractor, all buzzing and whining and zipping. Laughter and daring and growing and learning, repeated years later by a flock of grandchildren. Different yard, same joy, a smiling moment. Once again, the air is silent, pregnant with promise. And then the croak of a frog from the lowland. The voice is rusty with the winter's disuse, but strengthens with each successful boom. I'm reminded of the frogs in the creek that swirled past the farm. Walk to the south, it was there. Walk to the east, and you met it again. The wonder of throwing stones, counting the bounces, and the immediate silence of the chorus with the first splash. And the frogs in the lowland beside the home at the acreage, filling the spring evening with song. Sitting on the front porch, cars humming past, sunset glowing, and frogs offering a bass symphony, a smiling moment. The robins begin their evening canticle, giving thanks for the day, blessings for the night, dancing, hopping, flitting, building a home, enjoying life. I am reminded of birdhouses I know, the one I scavenged from my aunt's abandoned yard, still cherished, the one my sister and her husband created for me, now hanging on my garage wall, the one they made for my son, a cherished heirloom, a garage with an attached restaurant with all the names and aptitudes of the family included, a smiling moment. As I turn in at the gate, through the backyard, silhouetted against the moonlight, is the promise of my gardens. A raised bed, containers, all ready for production. I'm reminded of the gardens I knew and loved. The farm one, large enough to feed the troops. The smaller one on the acreage, enough to enjoy and share. Fruit trees and flowers, red tomatoes and snap peas. Looking at this future, it too is a smiling moment. I always enjoy Rita's column. Makes you think. And we're going to read the letters column this time because it's entitled Questions and Answers on Neepawa and District Community Medical Clinic. And I know there's a lot of people have questions at different times about what's happening and why. And the question is, what is happening at the community clinic? Answer, there are 3 big things happening right now. First, plans are underway for a second addition to the clinic, commencing in 2017, which will result in an additional 6 consultation rooms. This means room for more doctors. There will also be a new boardroom in the basement and a second suite to accommodate more medical students. You will see a new parking area and a new handicapped accessible entry on the south side, plus interior renovations to some washrooms, the front desk, and the reception area. Second is the kickoff to our annual fundraiser, the Farm and Leisure Lottery, with all funds going to the clinic development. This is the major annual fundraiser. We rely on it to pay off major projects such as this. Third, watch for a pending announcement. And the question, don't the doctors own the clinic? Who owns the clinic and who looks after it? And the answer is, no, the doctors don't own the clinic. They rent the facility as Beautiful Plains Community Medical Clinic and operate the practice as tenants. The property is owned by NADCO, which is Neepawa Area Development Corporation, which is fiscally responsible for the clinic. Direction and day-to-day management of the clinic is provided by the Neepawa and District Community Clinic Committee, a group with a council representative and a citizen representative from each of Neepawa and the RMs of North Cypress Langford, Glenella Lansdowne, and Rosedale. This committee was put together in 2005 to develop a long-term plan to recruit and keep doctors in our community. We found that new doctors were more interested in renting clinical space instead of buying into a practice. Dr. Ong and Dr. Potker were instrumental in promoting this concept of community clinic and mentoring center. Since that time, they have been joined in practice by Dr. Tariq, Dr. Milligan, Dr. Weeb, and Dr. Desolé. Recruiting continues. When Dr. Chapman retired, we had already acquired his clinic with the vision of growing it to suit the needs of our growing community and what has since become an expanded service area. Question, why do you need a fundraiser? Don't we pay taxes for the clinic? The councils that make up NADCO provided a long-term loan for the original purchase of the clinic. The immediate renovation, ongoing maintenance, the south addition, and the purchase of surrounding lots for expansion have all been done through the past 7 lotteries. Rental contracts and designated donations from local service groups. Your tax notice will not show any tax dollars targeted to the clinic. We have also not received any monies from the province of Manitoba. Prairie Mountain Health enabled us to install an electronic medical record system and continues to help with the process of doctor recruitment. Does the clinic pay taxes? Answer, yes. For example, NADCO paid $23,900 in 2016 taxes and $21,895 in 2015 taxes to the town of Neepawa. Question, why a lottery? Answer, the structure, leadership, and volunteer base was already in place from 3 years of lottery fundraising for the Country Meadows Personal Care Facility. There is a strong and stable group of volunteers at present who are dedicated to providing medical service to our community. We also continue to work with Performance Promotions as a proven and reliable marketing vehicle. Because they buy into the lottery, people from all over the province are contributing to the clinic in Neepawa. We are grateful for that. If you buy a lottery ticket, you are providing financial support to maintain and grow the clinic and to attract and keep our valuable group of doctors. Question, if I don't personally believe in a lottery, can I still contribute to the clinic project and support of our medical situation, but without buying a lottery ticket? Answer, definitely. Your contribution would be most welcome. The best way would be to make a donation specific to the clinic construction project through the town of Neepawa or your local RM. Your donation would also qualify for a tax receipt. Question, why do we have suites in the clinic? Isn't that extra cost? Answer, yes, it is extra cost, but the reason is very important. With the development of the clinic concept, Dr. Ong, Dr. Potker, and Dr. Tariq were excited to take on mentorship of U of M medical students who require hours of clinic experience. This has been a real success. Incoming doctors Milligan, Weave, and Desolé have all played a key role in keeping this program going. Students get to work in a community practice and to experience life in a rural setting, sometimes very illuminating. To date, 45 students have benefited from the doctor's tutelage and being able to live close by for consultations, meetings, and on-call experiences. They have been impressed by both. The University of Manitoba pays a rental fee for student use of the suite, so that helps pay for the facility. This has been a great tool in the whole recruitment process. Question, the lottery has been active for quite a long time? Answer, yes. It was originated to pay the community portion of the Country Meadows building project. When the project completed in 2009, Mary Ellen Clark, Our Lady of the Lottery, suggested that we refocus the lottery to the development of the community clinic. The committee agreed and, with Mary Ellen at the helm, have lent wholehearted support ever since. This is a remarkable 11th year of lottery in Neepawa, with the last 7 years devoted to clinic development. Over the past 7 years, the lottery has contributed an amazing total of $732,970 to the clinic project. Performance Promotions of Yorkton continue to be most supportive of our project and our community. It is safe to say that the clinic and community medical services would not be the same without it. The present situation works well for the doctors and for our community. It's a win-win situation, and we're working to keep it that way. And this is a wonderful success story for Neepawa, and it's only getting better as time goes on. So if you possibly can, it would be great to support the lottery. And at the back page, we have just a few pictures called It's Tea Time. And preparations are continued underway at the Neepawa Golf and Country Club for the official start of the season. As of Wednesday, April the 19th, the plans were for the course and driving range to open on Friday, April the 21st, while the opening of the clubhouse was expected to be a week later. And as these photos show, there's already a resident group of geese that are on the golf course. And power outages kept hydro crews busy over the long weekend. It was a busy weekend for Manitoba hydro crews in the Neepawa area. On Friday, April the 14th, a pole fire resulted in power outages north of town. And on Sunday, this crew was working to repair a damaged pole on Highway number 5 just before the Brookdale turnoff. So they've been kept busy. It's one thing about hydro crews, they always end up having to go out in the worst weather to fix these things. We will read the obituaries now. Bates, Florence Myrtle. Our mother and grandmother, Florence Myrtle, was born on March the 4th, 1920, at Newdale, Manitoba. She was the youngest of 6 children born to Watson and Harriet Lamb. In 1938, she married Radley Bates, which lasted 66 years, until Radley passed away on October 12, 2004. During this time, they raised 3 sons, Bill, Terry, and Alan. Knox Presbyterian Church was always a very important part of her life. She taught mission band and Sunday school when the boys were young. She was one of the first members of the Heather Club, which she missed very few meetings. She also sang in the church choir for 60 years. She was also on the board of managers for several terms. And along with Margaret Cameron, she convened many banquets and luncheons at the church. She was also a chartered member of the Royal Purple Lodge and had 50 years of perfect attendance, and also had the honor of being honored Royal Lady for the Royal Purple. The lodge disbanded in 2005, and she was the only chartered member left. In later years, she started Welcome Wagon in Neepawa, a job which she held for 25 years. Her favorite hobby was her knitting, which she started at the age of 10. Many of the grandchildren received many knitted articles over the years. In later years, knitting was put into craft sales, country fairs, and some of the knitting was sent all over the world. Mother also bowled for 60 years, which she also enjoyed. In 2000, the move was made to Elks Manor, where she resided till August 2016. She enjoyed all the activities and the social interaction with the other tenants. She was blessed with good health, but when her health deteriorated, the move to Neepawa Hospital, then to Glenborough Hospital, and the final place, Shoal Lake Hospital, had to be made. She was predeceased by her husband, Radley, her parents, 3 brothers, 2 sisters, 1 granddaughter, Rachel, daughter-in-law, Frances, and grandson-in-law, Larry. Left to mourn her passing are Bill, Beatrice, and their family, Patricia, her son Ryan, and daughter Lori, Robert, and daughter Montana. Kimberly, John, and son Richard, Kelly, and son Jamie, and daughters Faith and Mercedes. Gayleen and her daughter Lisa, and her children Annalyn and Allie Grace, and son Daniel, Kara, and children Kira and Daniel. Valerie, Chris, and daughters Stephanie and Christine. Terry, Carol, and their family, Beverly and her children, Caitlin and Dylan. Teresa, Jason. Carol's children, daughter Jennifer, Troy, and children Oscar, Josh, Jordan, and Ryan, and son Jason, Jennifer, and children Collins and Deacon. Alan, his son Barry. She will also be missed by many nieces and nephews. Funeral services were held April the 5th, 2017 at Knox Presbyterian Church in Neepawa, with Reverend Jeannie Lee officiating. Interment followed at the Riverside Cemetery. Donald Susky. Donald Susky, aged 94, passed away peacefully on April 4th with his wife by his side at Country Meadows Care Home in Neepawa, Manitoba. He was born May 22, 1922, to Joseph and Catherine Susky Niwahoski in Polonia and was one of 15 children. Donald went to Polonia school from ages 7 to 14. He helped out on the family farm and then raised his own family there. He married Irene Speece on April 18, 1953. His predecessors are his parents, brothers, sisters, and several nieces and nephews. He is survived by his wife Irene, children Marlene, Nestor, Harvey, Kim, Ted, Christine, and Norma, Barry, plus 10 grandchildren and 9 great-grandchildren. Donald will be remembered as a husband, dad, grandpa, farmer, Knights of Columbus member, and devoted member of the Roman Catholic Church. He was a friendly man who always liked to strike up a conversation with anyone he met. Funeral services were held April the 7th at 10:30 a.m. at St. Dominic's Royal Roman Catholic Church. The family would like to extend their gratitude to medical professionals and staff that made his final days so comfortable and took care of his every need. Margaret Eleanor Harris. Eleanor passed away at the Prairie Mountain Health Center on April 12, 2017. She was born in Winnipeg in 1943 and lived there the first couple of years. She then moved to Kelwood with her parents and took all of her schooling there. After graduating from grade 12, she took her teacher training in Winnipeg and taught for 29 years, mostly in Eden. While doing this, she completed her Bachelor of Arts in summer school and correspondence courses. She retired in 1993. She was a member of the Anglican Church. She enjoyed many years with the drop-in center, mostly playing floor shuffling. She also played bridge for several years with a group of friends. She loved her garden. Every year there would be a couple of new plants added or an old one removed to a new location where she thought it might do better. She especially loved lilies and had many of the local varieties. She also enjoyed bus trips to various destinations. If a bus was going, she tried to be on it. She became good friends with the tour operators and fellow passengers. She didn't very often come home with money, but she always had a good time. She was predeceased by her parents, Robert and Myrtle Harris. She will be lovingly remembered by her cousin, Betty Parton, and family, her close friend, Sharon Tremaine, and other friends and neighbors. A graveside service will be held at the Kelwood Cemetery on Thursday, April the 20th at 2 p.m. Donations may be made to the CNIB or a charity of your choice. Ann Stinson. Ann Stinson passed away on Sunday, April 9th, 2017 at the Brandon Regional Health Center at the age of 73 years. Ann resided at the Rideau Park Personal Care Home in Brandon. She was born on January the 18th, 1944, and grew up in the Waldersea district. Ann enjoyed rural life in Manitoba. She lived on a small farm and enjoyed being with the animals, horseback riding, and just being outdoors. In her later life, she enjoyed writing, poetry, sewing, and knitting. She was very talented in needlepoint, creating her own pictures and listening to music. Many times in life, Ann looked back to see only one set of footprints. There were many enjoyable stretches, too. Ann was grateful for every smile, understanding nod, along with any words of encouragement, a helping hand, or friendly conversation. We thank her neighbors and relatives, doctors, nurses, and the personal care home staff who took the time to help her through her many struggles, especially those who managed to have a laugh with her. Anne leaves to mourn her passing a sister, a brother, and their extended families, along with her daughter, 2 sons, and their children. Cremation has taken place, and a private interment will take place at a later date. Her final resting place will be with her parents and a sister. Should friends so desire, donations may be made in memory of Anne to the Canadian Diabetes Association. And those are the obituaries. And the Neepawa and District Fine Arts Festival vocal winners. Last week we had the piano winners. And from the top, maybe like this, Vicki Elgert receiving a trophy, Robin Semler receiving a trophy, Declan Smith, Greta Wiebe, and Bryce Kwiatkowski. From April the 6th to the 8th, talented singers and musicians took to the stage at Knox Presbyterian Church for the 2017 Neepawa and District Fine Arts Festival. The annual event gives performers a chance to perform in front of friends and family and to also receive feedback from a trained adjudicator. Performers also win trophies and scholarships. And this year's vocal winners were 10 and under age group, Danica Potker; 12 and under, Greta Wiebe; 14 and under, Robin Semler; 16 and under, Vicki Elgert. The Vocal Trophy Medallion Scholarship Awards: Clem and Robert Turner Memorial Trophy Medallion Scholarship, 10 to 14 years, Robin Semler. Durston Scholarship, 10 to 14 years, Declan Smith. Lions Rose Bowl Medallion Scholarship, 15 to 18 years, Vicki Elgert. Cora Lear's Scholarship, 15 to 18 years, Greta Wiebe. Drayson Family Scholarship, 10 to 18 years, Bryce Kwiatkowski. The piano winners were in the April 4th edition of the Neepawa banner. In last week's story, a photo of Raylyn Koszowski was incorrect. The photo was actually that of Robin Semler. And fatal auto accident in the RM of North Norfolk in which alcohol is believed to be a factor. On April 16, 2017, at approximately 5:30 p.m., RCMP from Portage responded to a single vehicle rollover on PR 242 at Municipal Road 60 North, located 10 kilometers south of the Trans-Canada Highway in the rural municipality of North Norfolk. Officers attended and located an SUV in the ditch and discovered that the driver had been ejected from the vehicle. The 61-year-old male driver from the RM of North Norfolk was pronounced deceased at the scene. Investigators believe the driver, who was southbound on PR 242 at the time, lost control of his vehicle, which entered the ditch and rolled. The driver was not wearing a seat belt, and alcohol is believed to be a factor in the collision. An RCMP forensic collision reconstructionist is assisting with the ongoing investigation. Sort of dodging back and forth here on this. A doctor on call is coming to Neepawa. In November 2012, Gail Freeman Campbell founded Daughter on Call with one casual health care aide. Now she's preparing to expand her Brandon-based business into the Neepawa area. Freeman Campbell, who worked as a nurse, said that she recognized a need in the Brandon and Westman area for personalized home care and founded the business to meet that need. Freeman Campbell explained that there are many things provincially provided home care can't provide. For example, home care workers can reheat a meal but not prepare one. They can't transport patients, and they can't do some household tasks like taking out garbage. They're working on a much larger scale, she said. Her company has a different focus, providing more personalized care. We provide care in a way that we don't believe in rushing out. 15-minute care doesn't give what people need, she explained. She added that they don't want to make their clients feel rushed, which can be especially bad for those who may be facing age-related mental challenges. It's been a rapid pace for growth for Daughter on Call, which now employs a staff of 50. Freeman Campbell credits their success to a good reputation and taking time to get to know their clients and their families. Part of this comes from the integration of technology into patient care. Freeman Campbell talked about their use of technology, saying that through a smartphone, caregivers log into a patient's file and record their work. A family member can then log in and see who cared for their loved one that day, what they did, and how the client is doing. While most of Daughter on Call's clients are elderly, Freeman Campbell said that their client base does vary. They work with MPI and Workmen's Compensation Board, and they have some clients as young as 18. Sometimes they'll get calls from family members overwhelmed by providing care on their own. Overall, though, she said, our clients really vary. Like their clients, the services Freeman Campbell's company provides varies as well. She explains that it could be help with personal care tasks, such as bathing. It could be help with household chores. It could be medication management, provided the medication is in blister packs. Or it could be transportation to medical appointments or social outings. She said that many families who are unable to take loved ones to medical appointments like this service, as the staff member will take notes and can ask questions on the patient's behalf. Another popular service is post-surgery care, which can range from 1 hour to 24 hours of care after a procedure. Freeman Campbell was trained as a nurse, though these days, running her company takes up all of her time. She explained that all of her staff speak English as a first language, and the majority are certified healthcare aides or have worked a career in the field. Some staff, she explains, aren't certified, but have an aptitude for helping others. These people undergo an in-house training program, and Freeman Campbell says that if that goes well, she will help them challenge Assiniboine Community College's healthcare aid program. She pays for upfront costs in exchange for a return of service agreement. She said that these arrangements have helped her retain good staff. As it came time to further grow her business, Freeman Campbell said she started looking northeast to Neepawa. I've had so many calls from Neepawa in the last 4 years, she explains, adding that her company has provided some care in the area. She added that it's a good area with a large population of seniors. She plans to staff the Neepawa operation with local staff and has already received resumes. I'm very optimistic we'll be able to hire local people, she said. She would ultimately like to open a Neepawa office, but as the business gets established in the area, it will be run out of Brandon. While the services provided by Daughter on Call aren't covered by Manitoba Health, they can be covered by private insurance or additional insurance provided by agencies, such as Veterans Affairs, WCB, or MPI. Freeman Campbell said that they can also help families work with their RHA to provide family-managed care, which can help offset some of the costs. Daughter on Call recently held 2 informational meetings in Neepawa on April the 17th. And it sounds like a service that could very well be very important in town and the area. And out of Helen's Kitchen, It's titled Measurements. And since Canada is celebrating 150 years since Confederation, she's spending the next several months showcasing some historic recipes in Canada's honor. The first cookbooks did not have exact measurements. Instead, they had terms such as a pinch, the size of an egg, or about a teacupful. American Fanny Farmer was the cookbook author to use terminology such as half a teaspoon, a level measured cupful. Her approach to cooking was very scientific and led to Fanny Farmer being hailed as the mother of level measurements for her insistence on the use of measuring cups and spoons in cooking and in recipes. This made cooking easier for inexperienced cooks. Her first book was published in 1896 as the Boston Cooking School Cookbook. It became the cookbook that taught generations to cook. Correct measurements are absolutely necessary to ensure the best results. Good judgment with experience has taught some to measure by sight, but the majority need definite guides, said Fanny Farmer. And there are two recipes in here. One is a lemon pie from Fanny Farmer's cookbook, and the other is a lemon cream cheese pie from Helen's Kitchen. And we won't be reading the whole recipes, but they sound absolutely delicious. I'm hoping okay. Changes are coming for rural blood donors. People in the Westman region who regularly or occasionally donate blood to the Canadian Blood Services will have a harder time giving of the precious substance. Canadian Blood Services plans to shut down its Brandon Clinic as of June the 8th. Mobile blood donor clinics that ran out of the Brandon Clinic will also be no more. Tracy Smith, Canadian Blood Services Associate Director for the Prairie Region, says the only permanent blood donor clinic in the province after June the 8th will be the one in Winnipeg. And while Susan Matsumoto, CBS's Director of Donor Relations for the same region, says the closure is due to low donation numbers, with the Brandon Clinic only achieving 75 to 80% of its target of 5,000 units of blood per year, Smith says that this is not strictly the case. The reason for us closing the permanent clinic in Brandon and stopping the mobiles in the rural communities is not because of the collection, Smith stresses. There's a variety of reasons. Of course, we look at all of it as to how many units we collect, but there's also labor and transportation costs, the distance to the nearest production site. We're striving to operate a more efficient blood system. While Smith says she cannot go into the exact funding model that the CBS uses, the closure is all about keeping the service efficient. What we're looking at is productivity benefits, looking at being more cost effective. Smith says CBS is not worried that blood donation levels will go down because of the closure of the permanent donor clinic in Brandon or the cessation of mobile clinics in rural areas, despite a total of 11 communities no longer having regular mobile blood donation clinics moving forward. She says the reason the rural clinics won't be run out of Winnipeg instead of Brandon is that it would be too cost prohibitive. When we are looking at the closure of these community mobile clinics, it does not necessarily mean that we are not collecting blood elsewhere. There are still areas where they may see donation increases. Larger cities and urban populations that have the ability to collect more will see increases as well. So it's not necessarily that we are collecting less units. Smith adds that she does recognize that a number of donors from rural communities may no longer be able to donate blood as regularly. It is hard for us to impact donors that have been loyal and have donated over the years at the clinics, she says, adding that she hopes that donors who make trips into Winnipeg once or twice a year will arrange to donate at those times. A spokesperson from Prairie Mountain Health said that they feel it's important that they are still able to receive necessary blood products for our patients, and that the CBS has committed that any changes in how clinics are run or not run, as the case may be, will not compromise that. The last mobile clinic for Neepawa will be held on May the 17th at the Yellowhead Center. And prenatal classes are an important opportunity for expecting families. Prenatal classes are running in Neepawa on June the 10th and November 14th of 2017, put on by Prairie Mountain Health and held at the First Baptist Church. The classes will focus on the topics of labor and delivery, infant feeding, and postpartum information. Becky Erickson, Public Health Manager for Prairie Mountain Health, says it can be important for new mothers to educate themselves in preparation for their infant's arrival. New mothers experience many changes throughout the pregnancy, physical, emotional, and lifestyle, she attests. It's important that they receive reliable information and support during this time. Prenatal classes, she says, are one way of receiving this support. Public health nurses are also able to suggest different options that work best for each individual woman's needs. According to Erickson, the classes are just for expectant mothers. Families are encouraged to attend as well. Partners and/or support people are encouraged to attend, she advises. This allows for that person to provide the mom with more support during labor and to gain confidence to act as an advocate on her behalf throughout the birthing experience. Child care is not provided for older children, though there are other options for mothers who want to include the siblings of their coming child, including healthy baby sessions. Erickson says even mothers that have given birth before can get something out of prenatal classes. Some experienced mothers wish to attend anyway, especially if they have never attended before, are new to the community or hospital where the birth will occur, if there is a new partner involved, or if their pregnancy is progressing differently, which may affect their birth plan, she explains. All women can benefit from accessing public health services during their pregnancy. A public health nurse can help each individual family learn the best resources for their situation and address specific concerns. One way they can do this is through attending prenatal classes. And to register for one of the classes, contact the Neepawa Public Health Office. And temporary measures are in place to protect the Lake Dauphin walleye population. On April 19th, Manitoba Sustainable Development announced that temporary conservation measures have been put in place to protect walleye populations in Lake Dauphin and its tributaries this spring during the walleye spawning period. The walleye population in Lake Dauphin has been recovering with the continued support of commercial fishers, recreational anglers, and Indigenous communities. Additional efforts are necessary to protect walleye during this critical part of their life cycle and are part of efforts to ensure sustainable Dauphin Lake walleye population. The temporary measures take effect immediately and will be in place until the completion of the walleye spawning period. During this period, no commercial or recreational fishing is allowed, but Aboriginal rights holders may continue to harvest all species of fish by angling only and must release any walleye between 45 and 70 centimeters in length. These steps reflect the department's commitment to improve walleye stocks through sustainable measures with input from First Nations and Métis communities. When Manitoba Sustainable Development determines the spring walleye spawning has been completed, temporary conservation measures will be lifted. All right. happens when you bounce back and forth through the paper here. You want to make sure you get as much as you can. And Neepawa bowlers reflect on 5-pin nationals, and a picture is here of Emma Gerard and Gregory Yu of Neepawa, who were part of Team Manitoba at the 2017 Canadian Youth Challenge Bowling Championships. A pair of local bowlers have returned from the Canadian Youth Challenge Bowling Champions with a new perspective on the sport. Emma Gerard and Gregory Yu represented Manitoba at the national event, which was held in Ottawa from March 23rd to 26th. Sanctioned by the Canadian 5-Pin Bowlers Association, the championship featured teams from every province as well as the Northwest Territories. Yu, who was playing at the Canadian Championship for the first time, bowled an average of 188.56 with a high score of 249 during the round-robin portion of the tournament. For the consolation round, his average improved to 192.4 over the course of 6 games, with a high score of 240. Yu said early on in the competition, the scale of the event took some getting used to. This was my first time at the Nationals. At first, it was all a little overwhelming. The scale of the event and level of competition were amazing. But after the first couple of games were done, I got used to the surroundings and was able to focus on the game. I was able to just think of all the other things around me as part of the experience, said Yu. My goal was just to experience what Nationals was like. There were so many talented players there, and it was a real chance for me to learn what it takes to win on that level. For Gerard, who was also making her debut at the Nationals, her pin average for the round robin was 175.75, with a high score of 273. In the consolation round, she averaged a score of 168, with a high score of 235. Gerard, who has been bowling since 2012, said the entire experience was a positive one. Going into Nationals, I was fairly nervous, but my main goal was to enjoy the experience and not stress about the results. Obviously, I wanted to do well, but also enjoy the opportunity to compete at this high level, noted Gerard. As the weeks went on, I found that I did get more comfortable. Getting over the early shock of the size of the event, the large crowds cheering so loudly. After a couple of days, it became easier to focus just on my own game. There are so many talented young bowlers in our country. Seeing the skill that was there at the Nationals was impressive. These are talented people who put a lot of time and work into their game. Along with you and Gerard, the other members of Team Manitoba consisted of Matthew Dunn from Brandon, Zane Patton from Carman, Justine Haywood and Swade Moyer from Minnedosa, and the coaches were Sylvia Swanepoel and Bob Wilson. During the event, Dunn bowled a 318 game. Haywood averaged 176, which was 26 pins above her league average, and Moyer averaged 211, which was 30 pins over her league average. So that was a great experience for our local bowlers, and it sounds like they did very, very well. The MJHL Championship Series, we're down to April 19th. OCN is at Portage, and April 22nd, Portage is at OCN. And Portage leads a series 3-2. And the Neepawa Cubs are hoping to build off a solid 2016 SCBL season with an even better effort out on the ball diamond this year. The 2017 baseball season could be one to remember for the Neepawa Cubs. Not only will the club field one of its most competitive squads this year, but they'll do so on the Diamond's grandest stage as they'll host the Senior AA Provincial Championship in August. Cubs player-manager Scott Newton really recently returned from the Santa Clara Baseball League spring meeting. He's confirmed that all 8 league clubs are back this season and will play a 14-game schedule. Along with Neepawa, the other teams this year will be the Austin Athletics, Carberry Royals, Dauphin Brewers, Ebb and Flow Lakers, Minnedosa Mavericks, Plumas Pirates, and the defending league champions, the Portage Padres. Newton expects that the level of competition this season is going to be extremely high. It's going to be a pretty tough schedule. Portage comes into the season the defending champs, and they're just as talented as they were last year. Minnedosa, year in and year out, are definitely one of the top teams. Plumas and Ebb and Flow have each shown improvement, so it's not going to be easy out there. Though the opposition across the Santa Clara League continues to get better, so have the Cubs. Last year, the senior AA club finished the season in 4th place, 7 wins, 7 losses, up 2 spots from the previous year. More impressively, Neepawa upped its game in the postseason, pushing the Minnedosa Mavericks to the brink of elimination in the semifinals. Newton stressed that those improvements have everyone on the roster feeling a sense of optimism as they prepare for the season. On top of the upcoming Santa Clara baseball season, the Cubs will also host the 2017 Senior AA Provincial Championship. The tournament will be held August 11th to 13th and feature 8 teams from across Manitoba. Newton said that they're very excited about being a part of the event and showcasing exactly what Neepawa has to offer. He added that anyone who might be interested in volunteering for the provincials can contact him at 204-841-4727. The 2017 Santa Clara Baseball League schedule will be announced within the next few weeks. So that'll be a good thing coming to Neepawa. And we have kind of a neat little picture up here at the left. On April 8th, the prairie crocus in Arden opened in full bloom. And those were at the heritage site at the north end of Arden. And just so that you can see on the screen, there are also 2 little ladybugs on each of the petals, which is also a sign of spring. It's very nice. That was a great photo, whoever took that one. And Bells, Bows, and the Builders 4-H Club are brimming with excitement. The Bells, Bows, and Builders 4-H group is very excited. As they're drawing near to the end of their 2017 4-H year. Last month, they hosted their annual Communications Night at the Prairie Alliance Church. Communications Night is a public speaking event where all of the members present a speech or visual to their fellow 4-Hers, family, and friends. Congratulations to the many members in our club for their incredible work, not just for preparing for Communications Night, but also with their outstanding job presenting them to the audience. Recently, some of the intermediate members of our club, as well as the Neepawa Area 4-H Beef Club, received the opportunity to participate in a provincial cultural exchange with a 4-H club from Nova Scotia. In this event, members of the Nova Scotia Club will be visiting us in early July, before the 10 members from our area head off to visit their province at the end of that month. In other news, our annual Achievement Night is fast approaching. This is a night where all of the members of our club display and share their 4-H experiences and accomplishments from that year. Family and friends are welcome to attend this event and celebrate with us on May the 1st at 6:15 p.m. at the Multipurpose Room in the Neepawa Area Collegiate Institute. And that is pretty well it for the banner. Thank you very much for tuning in and listening. And we got through this week without coughing, so I think that's taken care of. Thank you. Have a good week, and we'll see you next week.